Hi there. In this video, we're gonna go ahead and set a random image for the second dice image view. Let's go back to our code. Here, let's go inside this onClick method. So after setting the image for the dice image 1, now we need to have another random number for the dice image 2. So here notice that we have a variable. So what does this mean? This means that we can change the value of this variable later. So for example, I can say my random number assignment operator 5 semicolon. So that is possible because this is a variable. But that is not possible if it is a constant. So what do I mean by that? If I put the keyword final before this int here, for example, I have final int my random number, this means that as soon as this variable is initialized, it cannot be changed later. So in line number 47, we assigned a random number to this my random number variable. But now it is a final variable or a constant. So this means that now in line number 55, I cannot change the value of this variable or constant. So here it's showing us an error and it says cannot assign a value to final variable my random number. So this red underline here indicates that there is an error in our application. And because of this error, if I go ahead and run the program, you will see that it won't allow us to run the program and our application fails to run or compile. Here at the bottom it says compilation failed, see the compiler error output for details. Here it is the build output and here we've got the error. Cannot assign a value to final variable my random number. So how can I solve this problem? I can either delete this final keyword here, so now the problem is solved, or I can create another variable. But for now, let's just delete this final keyword. And now let's reinitialize this my random number. How? I'm gonna generate another random number after setting the image of this dice image 1. So I'm gonna say rnd object dot next int. So I'm gonna generate a random number between 0 and 5. So I'm gonna pass the upper bound 6 here. Now that I have this generated random number, I'm gonna say dice image 2 dot set image resource, and then I'm gonna refer to this array dice images, a pair of brackets. Now we need to pass the index of the image we want to access. So I'm gonna pass my random number. That's it. So now if you go ahead and run the program, you will see that it's gonna change the image of these image views randomly when I click or tap on this roll the dice button. So just tap on this roll the dice button. So now it's gonna change the images here for me randomly. So hopefully that makes sense. So now let's go back to our Android Studio. So it's time to add the next feature to our application. So when I tap on this button, roll the dice, I want to hear a roll the dice sound. So you can find the sound in the resources folder of the Dice app application, and you need to add it to your project. So just go ahead and open your project pane, open the app folder, and here open the res folder. Right click on this res folder, new, and then go ahead and click on Android resource directory. So here, let's change the resource type to raw. So just choose the raw type, and now the directory name is changed to raw, and then click on OK. We need to add the sound to this raw folder. So go ahead and open the Dice app res folder, and right click on this dice sound, and then click on copy. And then go to Android Studio, right click on this raw folder, and then click on paste. So here it's gonna give you the option to change the name, but the name is good. Let's just click on OK. So now if you open the raw folder, you can see the dice underline sound.wav here. Now let's go into the main activity here. So here inside this onClick method, After initializing the btn role and before this setOnClickListener, I'm going to create an object of type media player. So let's say media player, and the name is going to be MP assignment operator media player dot create. So now we need to pass the context. The context is going to be this. You'll learn more about context later, don't worry. And the second argument that we need to pass is the sound that we want to play. So just refer to this r.raw.diceSound semicolon, and then go inside this onClick method. After setting the image for this dice image 2, I'm gonna say mp.start. That's it. So now it's showing us an error, and here we've got this red underline, and it says variable MP is accessed from within inner class, needs to be declared final. So you'll learn more about inner classes and anonymous classes later in this course. But for now, just know that this media player should be final or constant, so it cannot be changed later. Okay, now the error is gone, and when I say mp.start, it's gonna work. Let's go ahead and run the program and see the result. So now when you tap on this roll the dice button, it should play a sound. So hopefully you can hear the sound, but I think it's a little bit hard to hear from the microphone, but you get the idea. If you tap on this roll the dice button, you should hear the dice sound. Now that we have the sound here, we want to add a shake animation to these two dice images. So how we can do that? We're gonna use an external library for that. So open your web browser and search for github.com, and then you will be guided to this page. Here inside the search GitHub, search for Android animation. So we use the github.com to get some external libraries for our projects. And here we've got this Android view animations. Just click on it. And then if you scroll down here, you should see some animation effects, the demo, and some codes. But here below this usage section, we've got this dependencies block. So inside the dependencies block, we've got 3 lines of code. Just copy the second and the third lines of code here, and then go back to Android Studio, and then go ahead and open your project pane. And now open the Gradle scripts here. And here we've got 2 versions of build.gradle. The first one is the project module, and the second one is the app module. We want to open the app module of this build.gradle. So just double click on this file, and then here you can see the dependencies block. Inside the dependencies curly braces, just paste those 2 lines of code, and then instead of compile, just type in here implementation. And also we need to put the implementation for this compile. Okay, now at the top right corner, you can see this sync now option. Just click on it in order to sync the project and add this external library to our project. And now if you go ahead and click on this build at the bottom, you can see that it says build completed successfully, and this means that the external library is added to our project and now we can use it. So let's go inside this main activity class. And inside the onClick method, after setting the image for this dice image 2 and before starting the MP3 player, we are going to add the animation here. But in order to know how to use this animation and play it on our image views, we need to know how to work with this library. So go back to the GitHub website, and here you should see some guide and information about this library. So here you can see that it says after adding this library to our project, step 1, now we have the step 2. So these are the animation codes that we should use. I'm just gonna copy this code, and I'm gonna go back to Android Studio, and here before starting this MP3 player, I'm gonna paste this code here, the yo-yo.with. So the first argument is going to be the technique of the animation. So this is going to be the effect that we want to play on our view. The duration, the repeat, and the play on the view that we want to use this animation on. So let's change the technique to shake, and the duration, let's change it to, for example, 400, and the repeat should be 0. I don't want it to repeat. And the play on should be on the dice image 1. Okay, let's again copy this code and paste it again here below this code. And here, instead of dice image 1, I want to play it on dice image 2. The same effect, shake animation. If you want to learn more about the other techniques and other attributes that you can use, you can go ahead and go back to the GitHub website and take a look at the other effects that you can use. For example, the pulse, the shake, the swing, and some other effects and attributes that you can use for your animation. But in our case, the shake animation is enough. About the duration here, it is using the milliseconds. This means that, for example, 1000 is 1 second or 2000 is 2 seconds. So when I say 400, this means, for example, less than 1 second, right? So if I say 500, it's gonna take a half of a second to play this animation. So let's change the duration of this one also to 500. Now let's go ahead and run the program and see the result. So let's just click on this roll the dice button. Now we have this animation effect, and we also have the sound. So it's very cool. So congratulations, you have created your first Android application in Android Studio, the Dice application with lots of features.